Hey guys, it's one of those really boring videos where I talk at you, but this one's actually interesting because it's going to be really useful to people who are going into year 12, starting their AS year. In between year 12 and year 13 during the summer, I've really reflected on my performance and my mindset, my progress, and things that I would tell myself at the very start of year 12 to do differently and to apply earlier. I'm gonna try not to yap too much because I know how boring that can be. So I just wrote it down in a doc so I don't waste your time. Starting off strong. The biggest mistake was definitely underestimating the difficulty of A-levels compared to GCSEs. This is actually like a huge thing. When I was starting the A-level course like the very first few months, I remember the first lesson for all my subjects. To preface, I take biochem maths. No, I'm not a med student, I'm just crazy. I remember all the teachers would tell us it is a huge jump from GCSEs to A-levels, and if you can't handle that, drop it now. And I'm like, it's fine. Definitely when I was going into them, I was under the impression that despite what everyone said, including like the grade above me at the time, that I'd be an exception to that. So I was like, people might find it difficult, but I definitely won't. I was wrong. Generally a universal experience. There's gonna be extremes on both ends, anomalies. So there's gonna be people who find it really easy and who thrive immediately, and there's gonna be people who will struggle for most of the course, if not all. And that doesn't mean that they're gonna reap bad grades. It's just that they're definitely gonna struggle, and I definitely think I'm more on that end than that one because it's just been a really rough time for me. It really has not been easy acclimating to A-levels at all. One thing I would tell myself at the start of year 12 is to definitely mentally prepare yourself for the grades you're going to see and the progress speed. I think that when I was going into my A-levels, because of the GCSE grades I got, which were all A's, thankfully, I was like, I'm going to do fine in A-levels. I'm going to try and aim for A's. But realistically, that's not going to happen. Honestly, that's not going to happen immediately. For some people, it will, sure. But then there's that pressure for them to constantly keep that grade for every test that comes after it. So I think that like you have to expect that you're not going to do the best at the start of the year. I got a U for my first bio exam, and so did everyone else in my class. The progress will be slow, but at least, try and acknowledge the small wins you have when you do have them. I think that's one thing that you should definitely try and savor in A-levels, all of like the tiny amounts of progress, because you won't be seeing like a huge amount of progress one test and then the next, because that's not realistic at all. I think that if I had that mindset earlier, I think my progress would have been greater, because I think I have such an unhealthy habit of saying like, this grade isn't good enough, it will never be good enough. That's not the case. I think I was just so harsh on myself because of like not believing that I could ever get a grade that low, ever. I got humbled, guys. Like low-key, I actually got humbled, but it was such a necessary experience for me. So I think that, yeah, it's definitely a learning experience. You're definitely gonna cry. I never thought I would cry over school, but I cried. Prepare yourself for that. More on like an academic note, more than an emotional one. For content-heavy subjects, you need to learn how to review, ideally before and after the lesson, and then after that, constantly after that, because then you tend to just really lose like the content, especially for like bio. I don't think you guys realize, like I've only done AS, like content, but I can tell you this now, that bio is actually, there's so many things you have to remember, so many steps, and not only do you need to remember those steps, there's also application questions. So it's really about understanding the content. Please, guys, please, for me, because I didn't do it, please try and do that. Avenge me. Okay. At our school, ideally, they want 15 hours per week per subject. So over like usually a 5-day week, we have a 4-day week, but that's like 3 hours a day per subject. I want you to know that yes, that is the standard that they want you to. It's kind of motivational for them to set that standard, but realistically it's not really possible, because for my school we have long hours. We go from 8 to 3:40. So honestly, and then there's ECAs too. Realistically, don't try and like really force yourself to get the 15 hours per subject per week. That's 45 hours for 3 A-levels, 60 hours for 4. You're going to get burnt out, and that's the last thing you want in A-levels. Stamina, is so important when it comes to A levels. You have no idea the amount of stress you're going to put on yourself. And I think with that extra burnout, it's not a good mix at all. And I've learned that the hard way. That's all I wrote down there. But yeah, you just need to prepare to be humbled sometimes. A levels are a humbling experience. And even some of the teachers are saying that A levels were a lot harder than their university course. But I think that's the whole point, to ease you into university because it was such a challenging course. Also, guys, when you get your predicteds in year 12, don't let it beat you down. You have so many other chances next year to really improve those predicteds. Guys, pray for me. So hopefully that'll be me. What I'm doing for year 13. So over the summer, I've been doing homework. We were given 86 pages of chemistry homework. And the first week back on Tuesday, we have a chem exam. The day after, I have paper 2 for that chemistry exam. And then the week after, I have math. And the week after, I have bio. So it's like never ending stress. I am finishing the homework. I am studying. I've got Incognito Pro because it's actually so good. I freaking love that. The exam questions there are fire. I'm also finishing all of my required practicals. I take bio and chem, so we have a lot of required practicals and the write-ups that we have to do. If you're missing one of them by the end of year 13, basically you just kind of failed. The bare minimum is to finish all of the write-ups. And I think I lost my required practical book. So now I'm just redoing it online because I genuinely just don't trust myself with like books anymore. That's what I'll be doing today. I'll be trying to film myself. For once, I will actually try to film myself. There's that. But first I'm gonna edit this video. Yeah. Guys, I think I'm done for the day. My head hurts so bad and I'm really tired. So, good night, guys.